Coming up, it's Love on the Farm. An Ohio entrepreneur is helping lonely farmers and ranchers find their heartthrob in the heartland. How New York's top restaurateurs and other fish lovers hook the freshest catch of the day. Then, caviar. American producers tap into the demand for this expensive delicacy. And some savvy suppliers answer the call for gourmet foods. America's Heartland is next.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand in America's heartland, living close to the land in America's heartland.
Hello and welcome to America's Heartland. I'm Paul Ryan. It's a common dilemma in these modern times. The demands of our busy lives make it hard to create and sustain personal relationships. Put more simply, it's hard to find love when you're working long hours day in and day out. Now that's true in the big city, and it's most certainly true out here in the heartland, where farmers and ranchers face the added challenge of geographic isolation. But one Ohio entrepreneur has a solution. Inspired by successful online dating services, he created one that's helping hard-working ag folks find love down on the farm.
Andy Fry spends long days tending the hogs on his family's farm in central Ohio. Neighbors are few and far between, so meeting a mate just isn't that easy, as Fry's dad once told him.
He said, you can't meet a nice girl in the barn or in the field.
So with computers becoming just as common in the country as in the city, rural lonely hearts like Fry are logging on to love.
This is just a little bit of my profile. I'm shy at first, but I'm an interesting and social fella. I'm a hog and grain farmer in the Midwest. I enjoy shooting pool. I also enjoy the outdoors, hunting and fishing.
Fry isn't looking for just any woman. He wants to find someone who enjoys rural life as much as he does. He logged onto a site called farmersonly.com, which specializes in matching up so-called rural singles.
Well, you'd think the idea for this unique dating service came out of some small Midwestern farming town. Well, think again. It's actually the brainchild of an advertising executive in very urban Cleveland, Ohio.
The reason that the site started is I have an advertising public relations firm, and I work with over 4,000 farms across the country. So I'm always talking to farmers all day, every day.
What Miller discovered in talking with singles on the farm is that rural isolation and long hours make it hard to meet people. When they visit other dating sites, they don't find possible partners who understand the demands of farming.
Talking to people that said that they haven't met any, haven't been with anybody in 10 years and they felt very desperate. And that's why I get so excited when I get emails in saying, I met somebody. I mean, that means a lot to me.
Miller says he has about 30,000 subscribers. 10% are farmer wannabes, 40% are farmers, and 50% simply want the country life.
You made it.
Yeah, I made it. How you doing, Cindy Lou?
I'm doing fine. Much better.
Two people who seem to have found that, thanks to farmersonly.com, are Cynthia Johnson and Dan Timot. They live 5 hours apart, she in Garden City, Missouri, he in Dodge City, Kansas. Since meeting online in February 2006, they willingly travel back and forth to see each other. Timot said he just didn't have any luck with other dating websites.
I did email a couple of them, but they just don't understand that agriculture, if you got a heifer starting to calve and you've got 6:30 dinner reservations, you're not going to stop that heifer from calving.
Timot, who's a cattle rancher, has never been married. Cynthia says her second marriage failed because her husband wanted her to give up the cows. She still lives in the country but longs to raise cattle again, and with someone special.
But there's a Bible verse that I held on to, and it was, God owns the cattle on 1,000 hills. And there's been uncountable times I've driven to work and I've held on to that watching cows. And now I've got somebody who has cows.
T-Mott and Johnson say their dates are mainly spent working at either his ranch or hers, with an occasional meal out. And that's the way they like it. What about the future?
It's meant to be. And we're trying to give it time and be wise, but...
I think we both think we know where this deal's heading.
Right.
As for Andy Fry, Cupid's arrow hasn't struck yet, but his online connections have helped him make some new friends who share his love for the simple life.
Everybody talks about a June wedding, but in the United States, more couples get married in August than in June. And if you're wondering about the couple's gift, a recent survey says that most brides and grooms prefer cold, hard cash.
Let's switch gears now from finding love down on the farm to finding fresh fish from the sea. For more than 170 years, lovers of seafood have converged on the Fulton Fish Market in New York City. But this traditional hotbed of aquaculture is undergoing some big changes. To learn more, we asked our Jason Schultz to bail out of bed in the wee small hours and brave the mean streets of the South Bronx.
It's 1 a.m. and the lights are still bright in New York's Times Square. But as the city heads for bed, the day is just starting across the East River at America's biggest seafood market, a spot in the Bronx that's just waking up when everyone else is going to sleep. This is the new Fulton Fish Market.
You need filet? Anthony, filet? We have swordfish, tuna, halibut, oysters, clams, mussels, flatfish, salmon, yellowtail. We sell shellfish.
Flounder.
They're alive! They're alive!
And it all adds up to 200 million pounds of seafood a year. That's worth more than $500 million. This is where New York City gets its fish.
The fish is either trucked in or flown in. From all over the world. Yep. You more or less know what your competition is selling for, and if you want the edge, you'll take a nickel or a dime less. One-stop shop, we like to call it. You know, grab them and don't let them go.
Some 36 seafood wholesalers work in this new 400,000 square foot, $86 million facility, all competing for the same customers.
It's all relationships. I mean, anything you do in life is relationships. So you develop a rapport with these people, they know what you need, and you hopefully you'll always get what you need.
You got it, brother. This is a dog snapper, Anthony. You ordered it, right? Look at the teeth on him, huh?
It's a chilly 40 degrees on the sales floor year-round, so it's hats and coats for the entire shift.
I gotta let him know by 8 a.m. our time.
I'll let you know 7 o'clock.
Work starts at midnight and the pace picks up from there. It's big. You can unload 30 semi-trailer trucks at the same time.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays are the slowest days of the whole week. And then towards Thursday and Friday, everybody picks up for the weekend. Then I had another kid. Really? My father was down here, my uncle was down here. Based West Coast fish. These are king salmon. These are hatchery caught, they're not trolls. Most of the stuff from Alaska, from Anchorage. And I have a small guy out there here, owns his own boat, about 2,000, 3,000 pound boat. And throughout the whole season, I just tell him, whatever you get in weekly, just send to me.
Hundreds of buyers will pass through the market each night. Joe Catalano's been buying fish for 35 years.
I mean, if something is really, if it's terrific, it tells you, I'm terrific. I mean, if you see a head of lettuce that's beautiful, you know it's terrific.
Same thing with fish.
Same thing with fish. This fish over here, slime on it, tells you it's great. Eyes, it's always important. They're great fish, just the looks. This could become sensual.
It's up to me to make my boss happy and make my customer happy.
Aquaculture, farm-raised fish, is becoming more and more important as a source for outlets like New York's Fulton Fish Market. Aquaculture is one of the fastest growing segments of the U.S. agricultural economy, accounting for $1.1 billion a year in production. Still to come on America's Heartland, caviar from California? American producers find a market for this dining delicacy, and American consumers go gourmet when it comes to products from the heartland.
So now you know where a New York restaurateur or fish wholesaler finds that perfect tuna or skate or fluke. And it's no fluke that all across America, more of us are seeking out specialty products, whether fish, fowl, or farm crop. We'd found one Florida farm family that's been observing America's growing ethnic diversity. And that family is finding success growing dozens of herbs and vegetables rarely found anywhere else in the U.S.
If you cut it up and put it in oil and vinegar and use it on your salad dressing, it's great.
Chuck Oburn is an expert on basil and chicory, and even a Jamaican variety of pigweed called callaloo. Oburn's C&B Farms in Clewiston, Florida, is one of the country's most successful niche farming operations. Chuck grows more than 36 varieties of specialty vegetables and herbs, tailored to a fast-growing ethnic market in this country.
We wanted to be outside of the normal part of farming in this area, and also it was easier to market the product because there was demand for these specialty crops because nobody else was growing in the area of these crops.
Chuck farms his vegetables on 2,000 acres, a far cry from the small 10-acre plot he began with in 1986.
Well, I always wanted to farm since I was a kid, so went to school at the University of Florida, got a degree in vegetable crop production and tropical vegetable production as a minor.
Chuck discovered that niche farming could be successful when his first crop of cilantro sold out to a retailer serving Hispanic shoppers. Chuck expanded his crop options with peppers and watermelons.
We grew red, yellow, jalapenos, long hots, cubanelles, serranos, cherry peppers. We grew watermelons, but we grew specialty watermelons, seedless watermelons. In 1986, that was a very, very specialized deal. So Hispanic market is huge. Jalapenos, I never can grow enough jalapenos. Cilantro, we grow, I don't know, probably 3 semi-loads a week of cilantro.
Chuck rotates crops throughout the year to meet the needs of retailers, asking for vegetables geared specifically to other ethnic populations as well. He keeps track of production by utilizing computers to schedule planting, shipments, and farm personnel.
Ethnic markets are definitely limited. You can't just grow 100 acres of Italian eggplant and then hope to sell it. Arab and Middle Eastern people eat Italian eggplant, and the Italian people eat Italian eggplant. So you have to know how much will they buy from you, and there's competition.
All of the vegetables here are hand-picked and hand-packed. He was recognized as Grower of the Year in 2004 by Florida Grower Magazine. Chuck has also been an advocate for federal standards on stricter produce labeling, listing the country of origin to protect farmers and consumers.
But I believe also from an ethical standpoint, it's good to know where the food's been produced. That's what you're ingesting. That's what you're putting in your mouth.
Chuck says his success comes from hard work and doing what you love to do. He's also been an innovator, working with Florida's university system on research projects, including beneficial insects, and one using waste from recycled paper for weed control.
Well, I love it. I mean, obviously this is the dream that I've always had. This is what I wanted to do since I was a child, and I'm fulfilling the dream, you know, the old, you know, I don't know, it sounds cliche, but I'm fulfilling what I've wanted to do.
The demand for fruits and vegetables mirrors a growing demand for American agricultural products overseas. Record exports of pork, cotton, tree nuts, corn, and wheat top the list of U.S. products heading for foreign markets.
Here now is a specialty food item that's been around since the days of the czars. But Russia's caviar industry has virtually collapsed in recent years, and that has opened up new opportunities for entrepreneurs in places as far away as California. That's where our Jennifer Quinones met some farmers raising a very unusual aquatic crop.
Caviar. It's one of the most expensive foods in the world. Russian caviar has always set the standard for sales of the delicacy. But today, American producers are joining the competition to capture a larger segment of the world market. Caviar comes from sturgeon eggs, also known as roe. In years past, most top-grade caviar came from sturgeon caught in the Caspian Sea. But pollution and overfishing have caused the near-total collapse of that industry. That in turn led to a big increase in poaching.
There is a lot of illegal caviar out in the market, and it's coming from poached sturgeons. And these sturgeons are already having a very difficult time maintaining their populations.
Wild sturgeon is on the endangered species list, and the United States recently put a ban on all beluga caviar from the Caspian. So caviar fans have turned to other sources.
Farmed caviar is all you need.
Dr. David Stephen directs farming operations for Tsar Nikolai, a California company that's one of the leading producers of farm-raised caviar.
These fish are 2 months old. This is our 2006 year class. These fish will be ready for caviar in 2014. We consider ourselves to be sustainable in the sense we have sturgeons now that are reproducing, that are in breeding stage. So we spawn and produce our own babies for the next year. So that pressure is removed from the wild stock. So we have a self-regenerating population here.
Dr. Stevens says they produce fresh-tasting caviar by feeding their sturgeon all natural, organic feed, and by housing the fish in these mineral-rich aquatic tanks.
This farm is unique because we have a total recirculation system here. We conserve water and electricity by recirculating the water. The process that we use is all natural. It's ecologically sound.
Making caviar can't be rushed. First, it typically takes 9 years for a sturgeon to mature for harvesting.
This fish is about 80 pounds, and she's 9 years old.
Then, after the sturgeon is ready for harvesting, the fragile roe is sent to the Tsar Nikolai headquarters in San Francisco, where it's hand-processed by workers in a chilly 40-degree room.
So when we do harvest the fish, we use all the meat, we use all the roe, we use the skins, we use the spinal cord, so nothing is wasted. But at the same time, every single egg is taken off by hand, so people understand the cost behind the caviar.
One of Tsar Nikolai's most popular products is called California Estate Osetra.
That's good. Yeah, really good. So it has this nutty, creamy, fresh, super fresh flavor that you're not going to find in some of the imports.
The cost for this delicacy? $60 an ounce. San Francisco's Tsar Nikolai Caviar Cafe offers novice diners a chance to see, smell, and taste the delicacy.
I'm not a caviar connoisseur by any means, but I enjoy caviar. If I were going to go to a restaurant, I wouldn't know what to order right off the menu. But here, you get a little bit of everything.
It's getting better as you go around.
We found that the cafe has turned into a window to the world for us and our company, and what's going on with the sturgeon. The last Black Sea for all import caviar has really changed. Tsar Nikolai farmed caviar and answered a lot of questions, and we're able to educate the public on what's happening for the plight of the sturgeon.
The United States ranks in the top 10 caviar exporters, with most of it going to the European Union, where France and Germany are the biggest consumers. By the way, many people are taking an interest in a vegetarian version of caviar that's made from seaweed. It's called Caviar.
Let's stay on the subject of specialty crops and wrap up this edition of America's Heartland with a look at some of this nation's top spots for fans of gourmet food items. Both are examples of how good things happen when you combine a business idea with a cup of opportunity, add a dash of luck, and toss in some free samples for the tourists.
For those who like to savor what the Heartland has to offer, the test is in the tasting.
Everything was delicious, but we like the desserts the best.
These diners are part of a growing trend in America, the demand for specialty and gourmet foods that use American farm products. Industry figures show the specialty gourmet market topped $27 billion in 2005.
It's so easy for somebody to create a wonderful meal using our condiments and products. It's very, very simple We kind of describe it sometimes as practical gourmet.
Martin Finan is the Chief Operating Officer for Rothschild Farm in Urbana, Ohio. The farm began in the 1970s as the dream of Robert Rothschild. His fields of raspberries were transformed into award-winning preserves and sauces. Today, the farm produces and distributes more than 200 products worldwide and has also become a destination for the gourmet experience.
We produce very high quality preserves, dips, sauces, sauces, but it's more than that. We've created an environment here where we have a wonderful cafe and also these beautiful gardens that you can see around you now.
On site, you'll find employees creating products that are often a mix of several select flavors.
Let's try the pumpkin caramel first, okay?
Susan Nicewander directs product development for the farm.
I get to make all these wonderful products, and then I have the audience that gives me feedback.
Today, she's testing dips and sauces that can be used with pretzels, vegetables, or fruit. Ginger has become a favorite flavor on the gourmet scene, along with...
Well, certainly wasabi has been a very good trend in the market. Right now, coming into the market seems to be fig.
I think people are experimenting a lot more with flavors, different flavors, and you know, through travel and people being just more open to new flavors.
And today we are making bread and butter pickles.
Travel east to Intercourse, Pennsylvania, and you'll find another producer of gourmet and specialty items. This is the Intercourse Canning Company. Nestled in the heart of Amish country, the cannery makes favorites like pepper cabbage, peach salsa, even pickled Brussels sprouts.
Because we're a small cannery, we can make our products taste as if you cooked them or made them at home, as if you can. And we make them in small batches, and we believe that the glass jars is the key.
Susan Adams and her husband Steve opened the cannery in 1997. Visitors can watch products being made, then make their way to the shop for samples.
When you're here and you're looking for something really local to try, well, it's gotta be the Amish peanut butter known as schmear, which means spread in German. What do you think?
Good. I like it.
The cannery found initial success with those traditional Amish recipes. Today they distribute dozens of items and continue to offer new products.
Some hot sauces that we've now developed. We have 5 or 6 different hot sauces. Some mustards, some unique mustards. We just created a Thai peanut dressing.
Industry figures show that the market for gourmet and specialty foods is growing at just under 10% a year. For Steve and Susan, that's meant more business, but it's also meant rethinking the business to meet the demand.
We looked at it, and I know she did too, as sort of, well, this might be an interesting hobby, something that we can enjoy doing, she could enjoy doing, I could help out on the weekends a little bit, but it quickly turned into something a lot more than that.
Well, even though Rothschild's now makes and sells hundreds of different food products, many of their top-selling items harken back to their very first crop, raspberries. And that includes some unexpected blends like raspberry salsa and hot pepper raspberry preserves. And on that hot note, that's our show for today. We thank you for watching, and we hope you'll come along with us again next time when we discover more great farms, families, and their fascinating stories in America's Heartland. I'm Paul Ryan, and I'll see you next time.
To learn more about this edition of America's Heartland, or to give us your feedback, visit americasheartland.org.
You can see it in the eyes of every woman and man in America's heartland, living close to the land. There's a love for the country and a pride in the brand in America's heartland, living close to the land.
Carol Highsmith has been called America's photographer. She's been traveling the U.S. for more than 3 decades, taking pictures of the people and places that make America unique.
When I go out across America, what do I photograph? Everything. Someone said to me, well, why would you photograph the Golden Gate Bridge, for instance? Everybody's taking photographs of it. Yes, there will be images of the Golden Gate Bridge that may exist 500 years from now, but the ones that we know will exist in high resolution will be mine at the Library of Congress.
Highsmith is collaborating with the Library of Congress in Washington, the largest library in the world, to capture as many images as she can.
It's important that we have our beautiful scenes tucked away in a place that knows all about preservation.
Her vast collection, all copyright-free, includes many memorable images of America's national parks.
I've been to most of them, and it's everything from the spectacular and vast Grand Canyon to wintertime scenes of Yellowstone.
At Yellowstone, America's first national park, she was mesmerized by the bison.
I would say really in all the wildlife images I've taken, and I've taken a lot, the bison are the best in a sense that they look like they come from 100,000 years ago. You're looking at this vast, gorgeous landscape of Yellowstone in the winter and the fall and the spring, and you're seeing the bison babies, you know, and all of the calves, and you just think about, will this always be?
Highsmith shoots at all hours and every weather condition, and has even had to face her fear of flying.
So I finally get to Alaska, and I'm going to Denali, and I hire a plane to take me up there. The whole way there I'm thinking, how can I get out of this? I just say, you must do it. So I did it. But to photograph it, and then to photograph Ruth Glacier, which is huge, and to know that maybe someday it'll be gone, it was just an experience and a half.
It's that fear of iconic American landscapes and landmarks one day disappearing that motivates her.
They say Yellowstone, it could just blow up. Will the bison be there in Yellowstone? The Washington Monument. We had an earthquake here in Washington, D.C. That whole thing could have just collapsed. So I'm just there to capture it as it looks right now.
Some of her experiences have been especially meaningful.
So I'm at Ford's Theater 150 years after Lincoln died, right there. And there are reenactors, and there was this man who held a candle, and that's how his face was lit. I thought, whoa, you can almost feel like what it must have felt like to be there at that night. I also photographed, for instance, the coat that Lincoln wore the night he died, with his bloodstains on it. So to be close to these artifacts is just incredible.
Carol Highsmith will be remembered not only for her work, but for the singular act of generosity that has defined her career.
I'm just glad to be there. I'm glad to have this as my job.
Julie Daawo, VOA News, Washington.
جانا امر باش نمشيو نهاجموا على واحد القريه. لقينا راسنا مع مدنيين. ما كيفاش يمكن لك تطلق النار على انسان ما هز لا سلاح لا والو. يعني انضريت بزاف مني شفت الاخر كيقوم بشي اعمال يعني، ولكن تما حسيت باننا حتى حنا بحال حنا قتله ومجرمين.
رجالات من الصعب الوصول الى ابو عبد اللي كيعيش في اعالي الجبال الاطلس المغربيه واللي كتبعد عن مدينه الدار البيضاء اكثر من 7 ساعات.
السلام عليكم. راني وصلنا لديك الكروازمون فين كاين دو بانو اللي علمني. صافي شكرا بارك الله فيك. ديما
الموضوع شويه حساس، خصنا نلتزموا شويه ديال السريه. الناس كاملين هنا كيشوفوا بان الطاقم ديال التصوير غتجيو مغاربه غادي يبقاو يشوفوا، نحاولوا اننا نكونوا نلتزموا بالسريه والصمت، نخدموا شويه واخا.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم. بطلت الكاميرا.
شفنا الصعوبه ديال المناخ، وشفنا الصعوبه ديال الطريق، وشفنا البلاصه اللي انت عايش فيها شحال هي بعيده وصعيبه يوصل لها بنادم، وانها فيها واحد الجو ديال الخصوصيه وجو ديال السريه الا بغينا نقولوا. ما كرهناش نعرفوا عليك تفاصيل اكثر.
تزادت واحد قريه صغيره جبليه، عشت وتربيت واحد العائله محافظه، ولهذا قررت انني نهبط للمدينه نقلب على خدمه. ففي الاول مشيت عند واحد الخياط، ومن بعد مشيت عند واحد النجار اخر.
لقيتي راسك في الحرفه ديال الميكانيك؟
فعلا لقيت فيها راسي مزيان، وانا من قبل يعني كنت مهووس يعني بهذه السياره وكيفاش كتكون السياره والاجزاء ديالها وهذه، لان داك السيد واخا كان يربح الفلوس بزاف ما كانش يخلصني مزيان.
علاش؟
بصراحه كان مبلي.
وما كنتيش كتمشي معاه ولا ما حاولش انا نجرك معاه ولا؟
المشكله الكبيره هو انني انا وليت بحالو، وليت انا كنشرب وكنسهر الليالي ونتبع الدريات الى اخره. حتى واحد النهار كان نتعرف على واحد السيد سميتو جواد، وملي شافني على هذيك الحاله اللي كنت فيها يعني الشراب وهذيك وسهر الليالي وهذه، زعما صراحه بقيت فيه بزاف، وبقى كيعطيني بعض النصائح، وفعلا هاد الهضره ديالو خلاتني فعلا نتغير. على اي وليت انسان اخر، وليت دائما كنصلي ونصلي يعني الصلاه في الوقت ديالها، وليت انا كنمشي للجامع بانتظام. هذاك الجامع هذاك اللي كنت كنمشي ليه كنت كنتلاقى مع شي ناس مربيين اللحيه، وهاد الناس كانوا جادين يعني جادين وصارمين في اي حاجه في التعامل ديالهم الى درجه التطرف. وانا كاع داكشي اللي كنت كنعرفو على الاسلام هما في نظرهم كان غلط في غلط. الاسلام واخا يعني تشوف المراه يعني ما دارش داك الحجاب يعني ما خصكش تكرهها او تقول كافره، او ولا انسان ما كيصليش يعني ما تجلسش معاه ولا ما تعاشروش ولا ما تعيش معاه، ولا انا كان عندي هذا الشيء عادي. ولهذا طلبوا مني باش مدي نتلاقى معاهم باش يعلموني الدين الصحيح والاسلام الحقيقي والطريق الصحيح.
يعني اقتنعتي بهذاك
بزاف يعني كيخليوك دير واحد الثقه فيهم كبيره. واكثر من هذا الشيء حتى انايا بديت كنربي اللحيه ونخليها تكبر، وبديت كنغير من اللبس ديالي حتى هو. حتى واحد النهار قالوا لي خصك تولي اكثر تنظيم.
شنو عناو بها؟
يعني اكثر تنظيم يعني هو خصني ننضم لجنه الدفاع عن المعتقلين المسلمين. وهنا انا ما عرفتش كيفاش حتى طحت في الفخ، وليت كنمشي معاهم وكنسافر معاهم جميع انحاء المغرب لنشر كلمه الله، يسمى بالدعوه عندهم يعني.
يعني تاخذوا موقف
ولا شنو قررتوا بالضبط؟
يعني خصنا نشوفوا اي حل نديروه باش نوقفوا يعني هذا الشيء، هذا التعذيب وهذا الشيء اللي كيوقع في سوريا والعراق وليبيا وما جاورها. وكانوا يوريونا واحد الاشرطه وشي افلام كيوريونا كيفاش كيذبحوا الاطفال وكيعذبوا النساء وواحد القتل بوحشيه زعما ما تصورش.
شكون اللي كيعذب هاد الاطفال والنساء؟ شكون
يعني الاتباع ديال بشار وما نخبيش عليك يعني بصراحه ملي كنت كنشوف هاد الاشرطه كنت كنحس بواحد الغضب يعني ما تصورش. واحد النهار يعني صافي قررنا وبدينا كنخطوا يعني كيفاش ناخذوا الطائره ونمشيو لسوريا وقالوا لنا بان القرار ديال الذهاب راه ماشي بالمجان.
شنو عناو بها؟
نمشيو نجاهدوا يعني وما غادي تكلف انت حتى بشي حاجه، هما اللي غادي يتكلفوا، ماشي فقط غادي يكونوا عاد عندنا زوجات وغادي نعيشوا في واحد البلد اسلامي يعني ما فيه لا فساد ولا. وفي النهايه انني قررت ننضم الانضمام الفعلي لهذه المنظمه هذه. قالوا لي لا بغيت تمشي لسوريا خاصك تمشي للصين اولا، ومن الصين لتركيا، من تركيا عاد تما يمكن لك تمشي لسوريا، ومن تركيا
شحال جلستوا تقريبا في الصين؟
في الصين جلست تما شي 10 ايام، وانا في الصين في واحد المدينه سميتها غوانزو. وتما عاود تعرفت على واحد الاصدقاء اخرين جداد وبقيت ساكن عندهم تما.
يعني افراد وحدين اخرين بداو يلتحقوا.
بعد هذه المده هذه يعني قررت باش ناخذ الطائره وغادي نمشي لتركيا. مشيت لتركيا، نزلت في مدينه اسطنبول، من اسطنبول انتقلت عاود لمدينه انطاكيا. تما عاود تلاقيت باشخاص اخرين اللي ساعدوني باش نوصل للتراب السوري. فعلا وصلونا للتراب السوري وبالضبط في منتجع اللاذقية. وهنا جاء الوقت باش ننضموا للكتيبة. هذه الكتيبة كان كيقودها واحد السعودي سميتو أبو حمزة، وكان يساعدو محمد الجزائري. وهذه الكتيبة هذه كانت كتعمل تحت الراية الخامسة.
ومن بعد ما التحقتي لتنظيم الدولة الإسلامية، شنو الفرق اللي لمستي بين جبهة النصرة وبين